Ma'am, you did mention that you incorporated reading. So, if you could tell us which books can help children with speech delay.
Books, basically those which have pictures, illustrations of things, and that has been illustrated in a image which is understandable for the kids. They understand as they can see them visually, because in autism you will find many kids or maximum of kids who are visual learners.
Some of the early books that I encourage parents to start are touch and feel books. So these kind of books have sensory elements which also encourage children to touch and use the pointing, which is a very important early communication skill. Okay, so these are one of the books that I recommend. The other series that I recommend is So now that we have spoken about play, games, so what are those games, toys that can be used in daily routine which can help these children? So first of all, anything that your child is interested in. For example, if my child is interested in sensory-based materials, my child likes to play with, clay or slime, I will involve them in the household chores that involve these materials. Example, what Aisha also said a few moments ago, that let them play with atta, let them, knead the dough, let them make different shapes. The child likes shapes, so he's making shapes with atta. The child likes water, so, I'm giving him water-based play. I'm hiding some animals in water. I'm letting my child find those animals, name those animals, repeat the sounds of those animals with me, okay? Having an establishment and an engagement. People play is very important for, the children to develop on how to engage and respond with the adults and caregivers. Very simple, peekaboo and hide and seek. All children, really love this game. And this is a very important game even to help your child say the names of the family members. Mama, Papa, Bhai, Didi. Didi kahan hai? Chalo Didi ko bulate hain. Didi, I'm coming. Didi, come here. Okay, so that can be a very good game to even learn these kinship terms. Tickle games, the child likes, tickling, the child likes laughing, he finds this funny. So we are using that as a way to establish communication with the child, as the way to establish waiting for the child. Okay, I will do 1, 2, 3 and go, tickle, 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 tickle. I will repeat it 2 times. Third time I will do only 1, 2, 3 and I will wait. I will let the child say go and then I will go and tickle my child. So as a way to help the child initiate the response, initiate the use of those words, right? So these are the simple most things that you can start with, doing with your child at home. And then from there, whatever material your child likes, expand from there, build up skills from that. Okay, water play pasand hai to water se aur kya kar sakte hai? What are the other things that we can do? I have 3 bottles in the house. I will let my child fill the water bottles instead of the maid doing it. Okay, my child likes sorting and organizing. I have got groceries from the market. I will let my child do the sorting of tomatoes, potatoes and onions. Okay, so I am keeping their interest in mind. They are doing functional activities as well as they are learning. As simple as that.
Wow. So now, professional has said it. We need validation from our parent.
Yes, definitely. I think the most important thing is that allowing them to explore more, rather than just forcing the rules of the games and saying कि ये ऐसे ही खेलना है, ऐसे ही खेलना है. No, it's okay. Even if they are like, हाँ मुझे बस dice डालना है और मुझे बस भगाना है, सांप काटे सीढ़ी आए, I am going my way. It's okay.
Exactly.
Absolutely fine. So that we cannot just, force everything stereotypically on the kids. It's okay. उनके हिसाब से भी कभी खेल लिया. It's fine. You can teach them different things, especially speech and language. Now, again, taking Azan's example, with the help of alphabets, we always, he's very fond of those animal sounds, What does the cow say? So we do that, keep saying that. And now again, here, upgrading is important. For entire 4 years, you can't say the sounds of the animals. So how do you upgrade it? Okay, so the sheep says, ba. Okay, what else does the sheep have? What does the sheep give? Oh, the sheep gives me wool. So when do you wear woolen clothes? Oh, when it is cold. Like that. So this is how you progress. And then when you want the child to think abstract and then say about it and use the letters. Oh, okay. Let's select one letter. Now tell an animal with that letter. If the child says it correct, okay, where does the animal live? In the jungle, in the water, where is it? And if the child is not able to answer, try to give options. Options always help them at least think. Even if he selects one and answers, that is also a way of using their cognition and executive function. Give them options. Don't just let them कि हाँ ये नहीं ये ऐसा बोलने का ना. That is not going to help. Give them ideas. Give them something wherein they will get interested in playing that game. Many autistic kids, I think, will not take interest in board games. Many times. If I'm...
Yeah, like
Because there are rules.
there are certain rules. So, it depends. There are some children who will prefer structure. So, they will like to play, okay, ye rules se खेलना है, so this is how we will play. So, again, different children will have different interests.
Yes.
One thing that I tell parents is that when you're playing with your child, be a partner in play. Don't be an instructor in play. What happens, many parents tend to do is they become an instructor. Don't put so many blocks, it will fall, the tower will fall. You know the tower will fall because you have done it. The child has not done it. They don't know how the tower will fall. Let them do it, let them explore. Okay, no, we cannot join this puzzle this way, you're doing it wrong. Let the child do a mistake. Mistakes will help them learn. Okay, and let them, explore, do mistakes and learn from the material. Be a partner, don't be an instructor. When you become an instructor, you take all the fun element out of the play. When you become a partner, the child connects with you, responds better with you, and the learning automatically follows. Okay? If your focus is कि चलो अभी ये trains use करके I'm going to teach my child colors. No, your child will run away.
And is that sometimes you have to copy them also now, Sometimes they are like, when they know how the dice was, they purposely try to take one number, like see. And then, oh, I got this. So, copy, kar lo tum bhi. Okay, I'll also try how you did. Oh, this is so much fun. I also got the number. So, it brings that connection and it makes them feel acknowledged that, oh, nice, something that was funny. So, that was good. It made them laugh. They liked it. So, even I can get connected with people like this. So, this is how.
Definitely.
Most of the time we get into that stereotypical and ऐसा
नहीं कहना है.
नहीं ये इधर नहीं इधर. अरे it's okay, absolutely fine if things are done the other way. At least try तो करो. अगर वो करेले की सब्जी एक तरीके से ही बना के खाओगे ना तो घर में कोई भी नहीं खाने वाला है. But if you give it a twist, the other time everyone will try it out because there is a twist in it, because there is a little bit of change in it. Everyone, even we have that sort of tastes and everything. So even the kids have taste in play. Okay, they want to play it like this or they want to play it the other way. They don't want to follow the rules. They want to follow the rules. Depends.
Like one of the most common examples of the way children with autism play is lining up toys. Yeah. Okay. So the most common thing that parents tell me is, how do I stop my child from lining these toys? Okay. So I tell parents, your child has autism and your child is lining up the toys. They are feeling a sense of achievement because they did it. They lined the animals so well. They are proud of what they did. Okay. The second thing is they are having the feeling of being in control of the environment. Okay, that, okay, I can do this. This is something that I can control when everything around them is a chaos. Okay, especially in the initial stages. And this is giving them a sense of predictability and comfort. Okay, this is my comfort thing. And what if you take that away? Take that one thing also away. Will your child feel connected with you? One thing that your child is feeling comfortable with, control with, and you take that thing also away, your child will not feel like, having to connect or play with you. Instead, use that as an opportunity. Your child is lining animals. You take cars and line up the, cars along with your child.
Yeah.
You then get that feel. You also say, already traffic jam. Yeah, name it traffic jam. Okay. And if you want to evolve from that, make the animals sit in the car. All the animals are sitting one by one in the car. And when you're doing that, you're modeling words. Come, sit, come, sit. You're following a structured pattern. Repeat it 4 times. Come, sit. The 5th time, pause. Your child will repeat it. Come, sit. Okay, your child will learn words meaningfully, with context, with interest. And it's fun. Right?
I think ये हमारे पहले कैसे था पेरेंटिंग कि भाई बच्चा पैदा कर लो, यहाँ वहाँ रहने दो, जो सीख लिया ठीक है. नाउ ऐसा है, तुमने जो स्कूल में पढ़ाई की है उसको डब्बे में बंद नहीं करना है, यूज करो. है नाउ दैट यू सेड शीप, तो शीप का पहले sound. Then wool कहाँ use होता है? मतलब सारी पढ़ाई apply करनी है.
But in your own way.
Yeah, it is so innovative.
Sit and learn.
Yeah. But then the parent has to be so creative.
And I think the creativity also has to come from the therapist who help the parents identify that as strength and not as weakness. This is your child's strength. Utilize it, and this is how you can utilize it considering your child's current level. That is what is play analysis. Okay, where I help the parents identify things, identify interest, identify strengths, and how do we utilize it to achieve the goals that we have for the child. Okay, so this thing has to come from therapist as well. I feel that's very important.
That's very important because
Not all parents have the kind of knowledge. It's something very new. It's something very technical. We don't know it. And when you are, hearing 10 other people, when you are hearing, other specialists saying, okay, this is obsession. You need to stop this obsession. The parent is left confused.
not everything is an obsession. That is what parents need to understand. What is interest and what is obsession. And obsessions also, you can't just snatch it away from
Having an obsession is not something that is bad.
Yes.
That is also something that we need to understand when we are understanding the difference between neurotypical and neurodiverse. Okay, zaruri nahi hai ke that obsession is bad. Okay, how is that obsession helping your child? Is that obsession hindering your child's development? If yes, then we do some redirection to it. Okay, if not, then you let it be, right?
Ma'am, you did mention that you incorporated reading. So if you could tell us which books can help children with speech delay.
Books, basically those which have pictures, illustrations of things said like a single line, and that has been illustrated in a image which is understandable for the kids. So you start with basic things, small books, random, where there's not too much of reading, but looking, because initially every child will only like to look at the pictures. And then they will try to, understand it. Then after some time, they will start reading. Then after that, third step will be read and then see, oh, okay, this is how it is. So that is again a process. So books that explain the basic needs, how they need to be told. Like if there is a small book which says, this is a girl whose name is Mary and she is living with her parents and she's happy. So, Mary is living with mama and papa. So there you're explaining to the child that, okay, mama, papa. So then later you say, oh, she's happy with them. She's happy because she's with their mama and papa. Oh, she fell down. She got hurt. Oh, it's paining, right? Hurt. She's sad because she was. So these basic expressions and initial functional words that we say, they understand as they can see them visually. Because in autism, you will find many kids or maximum of kids who are visual learners. They are able to pick up things when they actually see them happening or when they actually see them in pictures more than in abstract. Abstract is something where you imagine that thing and then you understand it. So that comes in a very later part. So first it is always with visuals. Giving them visuals and helping them with reading will make things easier as you go on with the speech therapy. Earlier, Arzan was also not able to speak or even not able to say many words, but reading helped him a lot. And we saw him using those words from books in context. By reading the books, he understood that, okay, this is Nani and I call her Nani, so I should call her Nani. So he started calling his Nani. So whenever he used to read the book, Mama, Abu, Nani. So he related those pictures with the real life people around him, and that helped him understand. Then again, reading helps understand the language of what the other person is saying. Or sometimes, you can just use it as a medium to convey your message to them. I think receptive language is what we call it, to understand what the other person is saying.
Receptive language, what the other person is saying. Receptive language is basically understanding whatever is being said. The understanding of words, sentences is a receptive language.
Right.
So definitely both the receptive and expressive language parts can be helped and learned through books. Both the things can be helpful.
Yes. So somewhere where, where there are situations where...
I think what you're mentioning is the dialogue between the people. Like, I am asking, so what are you answering? the question and answer is something that can be relatable and more understandable.
Right. See, Kandesh, it's written in the book now. Mama said to Mary, sit there. So, like it has happened where, I have said something to Azan and Azan has said, Mama said. Mama said. So that is how I could understand. He is able to relate it. So he understood that Mama is saying something to me. Mama said this. So this is how it helps. And then somewhere there is also a difference that when we try to say something, it is not understood correctly. But if the child is able to read, they are able to understand what we are saying. Like I just mentioned earlier, we went to a place which was closed, but he was not able to understand when we were trying to say it verbally, that it is not operational, it is closed. But when we showed him written there and he read it closed for maintenance, he could understand. Why? Because it was visual. He could read and he could understand closed means closed. Maybe verbally he was not able to, process that what this exactly means. But when he read it visually, he understood, oh, it is closed, I can't go there. So let it be. Like that. So it helps control meltdowns also at times, because sometimes what happens is autism kids are so sensitive. Like if you keep talking, now they're like, just go away. And they stop processing. When they stop processing, they either go in a flight mode or they go into a fight mode. So when they're in the fight mode, it's complete. Wow. It's like a bomb blast. And if they go into that fear mode, and then they are like, they'll not speak to anyone. They'll not say anything. They will just be very quiet into themselves. And that can drag them behind, which we don't want. So just a medium of communication. It could be anything, as long as a child can express. Sometimes even books have helped where the child is not speaking, but when he's feeling sad, he just finds that book, showing to the parent or to the therapist that, this is what I'm feeling now. Okay. Even this is there. So even this is a part of communication. So if it is helping, it is working. Yes. And this gives confidence when they go in class in between many other kids. Now, when there are other things, Arzan definitely gets a little, like that. I'm not able to speak with like them. But when it comes to reading, he reads the entire thing and others are not able to read. When the teacher says, Azan reads excellent, good job, very nice, he feels that, I can also do something. It's an accomplishment, something which even I can do better than others. We need to build that in our children so that they are not always pressed down or, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. No. Something that can make them feel accomplished, that yes, I can do this better than others. Even I have something that I can do.
So when it comes to reading books, initially what parents should focus on, as Aisha also said, simple picture books that are relatable, simple concepts that the child can understand, that the child can, gain functional knowledge from. Those are the books that will be very helpful. Some of the early books that I encourage parents to start are touch and feel books. Okay, so That's Not My Series is a very wonderful series of touch and feel books, and it's about, different animals where the character says, that's not my animal, its horn is too bumpy, or that's not my rhino, its stomach is too fluffy. So these kind of books have sensory elements which also encourage children to, touch and use the pointing, which is a very important early communication skill. Okay, so these are one of the books that I recommend. The other series that I recommend is simple board books which have clear pictures, like one picture per page, either of objects or animals or, any other functional things in the child's environment. And lift the flap books, which have an interactive element. For example, you open the flap, what's inside the flap? You pull the tab, what's coming out of the tab? So these are the interactive elements that keep children engaged with, books and help them interact with their caregivers as well. Now, as Aisha was saying that Azlan is a very good reader. He's very good with reading. Okay, now many other children might not be so good with reading. So how do we use books with them? Then we focus more on the pictures. We focus more on picture talk. What's happening in this picture? Okay, let's describe what's happening over here. This is a girl. Girl is sleeping. Girl woke up. It's time for breakfast. Okay, she's going to the bathroom. She's brushing her teeth. There are simple, clear, well-illustrated pictures. So the Macy series and the Spot series, these are good interactive books which have very clear illustrations that are easily understandable by children And these are some, examples of books that can be used. Even the Karen Katz series is a good series of Live the Flap books, which helps children understand the WH questions. Those are the series of books that I really love for the who and the where questions. So it's basically a simple story will be about the baby searching for the beach ball. Where is the ball? And then there are different things. Is it behind the sandcastle? No, it's not there. Let's search on the page. Where is the beach ball? Is it behind this? No, it's not there. So learning yes and no questions, learning how to understand and answer the questions. Some simple WH question skills which will be really important to build your child's understanding of communication are things that can be built up through books. Now, many parents also feel that when they are, using books with children, the focus has to be on reading. My child needs to learn how to read, okay? And they forget the joy of reading, the joy of sharing a story, okay? And the entire focus goes on reading. But the reading part will develop later on for the child, right? By 3 plus or 4 plus, when they start understanding letters, alphabet, that's when the reading part will develop for some children who are not intrinsically motivated towards reading or letters and numbers. Okay, for Aslan it was different. For some other children, it might be different. So use books as a medium to, connect with your child, share stories with your child, and that's how your child will fall in love with books. Okay, and the reading part will eventually come. So that would be my take for some children who are not intrinsically inclined towards reading.
Totally agree. It's very, very helpful in every way. Just that you need to select the right way for your child as per your. That's all.
And these days we really have very good books available. There are really good books, even international books and even books by Indian publishers are really good. Like if you see the Pratham series, Pratham books, their books are really very economical. The characters are very much culturally relevant. The stories are culturally relevant. The concepts are simple and the books are graded in terms of levels of difficulty. So those, and even bilingual books are available. Another mistake that parents do is when they start, reading stories to the children, and if the child's first language is not English and they are reading in English, the child is really not liking it and not paying attention towards the books. So start talking about what is happening in your mother tongue. Use your mother tongue. It's okay if it's written in English. You tell the story in your mother tongue. That's how your child will find a connect. And gradually you start adding the English words as the child's, attention and understanding builds up. So Pratham books are a great series because they are available in bilingual, they are culturally relevant, very economical. That is a series that I recommend to parents too often.
And most importantly, don't just drag the story as it is in the book. You can always cut it short. You make it more fun and make it to the limit where the child can sit and listen. And the best way is to make them sit on your lap and then go through the book. Initially, it will only be for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's okay. Done. Chalega. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, go away. Then it will slowly, when the child starts liking.
Gradually
it will happen when the child feels that connection. Ooh, I'm sitting on mama's lap. That's the best place to be. So then that will go on and on. This will also bring us parents close to the books, wherein actually now I think we as adults have lost, because reading is like, just take your mobile phone and when you're done, just scrolling it. So when we get closer to the books, like, so true.
For us in our home, like reading is a downtime, like before bedtime. Both my kids they will go to the bookshelf, they will choose what books they want. Even my 2-year-old, she will go and she'll say, I want bear book, I want teddy book, I want dino book, and then they will want me to read the stories. I think that's the best downtime that we have. It's like a bonding and quality time. Not everything has to be equated with how much a child is learning.
Yes.
I think that's the trap that, parents fall into. What is my child learning from this? When I do this activity, what am I going to teach my child? Just keep the teaching and learning aside. Focus on just, enjoying that time with your child. The learning will happen.
Books again help you take time for yourself also. Sometimes, again, as I said, when you're overwhelmed, when you're not able to, take it anymore, I always say, Azan, your library is open. Can you please? So he'll just go on. If he wants to read, he'll go read one book. If he doesn't, then he'll just go through all it's okay. Every time he doesn't need to read everything. But at least I get that 15 minutes for myself. where I don't have to see what he's doing. No, I don't need, because I know he's busy with his books. At least I got the 15 minutes for me, which is also important.
Very important.
So true.
There was one parent who came in, and the child was I think tennis. The child used to play tennis. So the father was like, you need to play it well. You need to win. You need to do this. You need to do that. So then the child was like, why can't I just play tennis?
Exactly.
That was so those words were so calming that, we all humans are on a race that you have to win. You have to reach this goal. If you're doing this, you have to achieve this. Why can't I just enjoy that process? Why can't I just play tennis?
Absolutely. We have stopped doing things just for the joy of doing it.
Now that we have already spoken about toys, books, and all other things, let's come into our newer age gadgets, our television and our mobile phones. So how, in the first place, what all are probably the television channels, or what can children see in television? And secondly, how can we use these gadgets for the benefit of these children?
First thing, definitely, what I recommend parents to do is at least till 2 years, follow zero screen time for your child. Because this 1 to 2 year period is very critical for your child's speech, language, cognitive, communication development, play development. Very critical. The moment you introduce screen time, all this exploration, observing the environment, learning from the environment goes away. And then you introduce it 30 minutes a day, 40 minutes a day. And then gradually it keeps on increasing. And then it becomes a vicious circle. And then at 2.5, you suddenly realize, oh no, my child is not talking. And now I must stop all the screen time. Okay, so that's not how it's really going to work. And I think we are also living in a day and age where, devices are all around us. Okay, we have to be mindful in terms of how we use it, and we have to be mindful in terms of how we allow our children also to use it. So you cannot have zero screen time all the time. Not everyone can do it. People who are having extra support and everything, they might be able to do it. For everyone, and for parents of neurodiverse children, it might not be possible. So it's okay to allow mindful screen time. That is what I tell parents. So you need to watch the duration of what your child, for how much time your child is watching, and you need to watch the content. What is your child watching? Okay, if you have these two things under control, then it's okay. You are sorted. Okay, so preferably shows that are, low stimulating shows, and definitely not things that are too overstimulating or back-to-back rhymes on a loop. Chal raha. So the child is going in that state of overstimulation, and then when the child is in that rhyme zone, okay, where everything is too loud or too musical or too flashy, they are not able to pay attention to your normal typical environment, which is not loud, musical and flashy, and then that affects their development. Okay, so everything in limits is permissible, is okay. Choose shows that are low stimulating. Choose shows that have an interaction and dialogue between the characters, so that your child can learn speech, language and communication. So we used to first have baby TV available on cable. Nowadays it's not there. And can be accessed on YouTube, I'm not sure, but they have their own app. Baby TV has their own app, and those shows are really good. They show how characters can play with everyday objects. They are doing pretend play, they are engaging with each other, they are doing something functional. There is general knowledge. There is Charlie and the alphabet. So Charlie playing with the alphabet are going to different places, they are doing different things. Again, a very good show for neurodiverse children. So try to incorporate these things in your screen time. Monitor the content your child is watching and the duration for which your child is watching. So these are the 2 points. Zero screen time may not be possible all the time for us. It might not be practical, right? And somewhere down the line, we also need some downtime for us. So just manage and have a balance.
How do you balance, ma'am?
For me, it is sometimes very difficult because Arzan is too attached to gadgets and other things.
Yes, we did see that, but he was using it in a real good way.
He was using it meaningfully also. It was not mindless watching.
So that is how, I had to work a lot on that because Arzan used to have meltdowns also whenever I switch off the TV or, he used to not understand that, okay, there's a time limit. So then again, there we had to input backward counting for him so that he understands that, okay, time is going to get up.
Yeah.
So I started it with again, same thing, 30 minutes for a day and all that. But still, we found somewhere that, even in the 30 minutes, he used to just keep repeating what he heard. Repeating. So then we thought that we need to literally either you stop it or, try something else. But then if I stop it, I need to have an alter ego ready for it.
True.
Either I give him the time or I keep him engaged in something that he likes. So for some time, till he was more understanding and he was developing, I had to put it off. Completely off, which wasn't easy because he used to remember and used to try to find remote and then point it out and say like that. But then I tried to give him that time, play with him during. After I felt like now he is at the level where when I say something, he will understand that. Then I started with a timer in front of him. Arzan, this is 30 minutes. When this goes off, this rings, TV goes off. The timer will be kept right under the TV. Wait. And mama's not going to wait. And no back counting also. So initially, he took it a little harsh way, "Aisa kar rahe mere saath." But slowly, steadily, gradually, with patience. Because initially what it jaisi wo baja on the floor. And I was like, calmly just ignore, TV off. And I'm sitting on the dining table, crying. Then he'll sit up. Mama told you. Not more than 13. Slow. So this happened for a period of time, and over the time he got it. He understood that okay, mama is firm. She's not going to give up. It happened where father was thoda 10 minutes. No. Let him come and hit me. Let him hit himself. Let him sleep on the ground. It's okay. He also knows that I cannot hurt myself, and he's not going to go to an extreme level where it is going to be very harmful. So it's okay. Sometimes you have to ignore to make kids understand whether he's a neurotypical or a neurodiverse child.
Yes.
So this is how we got screen time in control. And then I realized he started learning and picking up language while watching Blippi's show. Blippy is a show wherein he has all top types of concepts which are covered, like what you do in the water, what floats, what sings, how do you play in a play zone, how do you play in an amusement park, how do you take care of yourself. So all these things, and he was understanding. So earlier he used to not like going to the play zone. He used to cry a lot because it was too much of overstimulation for him. But when we made him see Blippy shows that had play zones where he showed how to play on each type of, the rings that are there or, the pretend plays are there sometimes. So he started learning pretend play from there. So that was the time where we picked it up. Okay, so when you're learning something, it's okay to see. So I started searching for episodes every time whenever I wanted him to learn a particular topic. So he would only watch that, nothing else. So as soon as I would feel that now this concept is clear for him, he's understanding, okay, let's move on to the next one. So something which is learning and understanding is good. Then again, second thing what parents can do is sit with the child, explain what is happening, let the TV be on mute. You explain it in your own voice. Okay. This will also help for the child to develop speech. Just, oh, he's in the amusement park. Wow, look, he's going round and round. Oh my God, it is so scary. I'm scared. Arzan, are you scared? So, again, connection, language, communication.
And a to and fro interaction is what she's trying to imbibe, when he's watching the TV. So he's not just seeing random flashy things. Okay, she's naming what he is observing.
Thirdly, slow the speed of that particular episode that is going on. We have that option in YouTube. We can slow down the speed, slow it down, let it go in a slow pace. Let the child understand what exactly is happening. Because when you slow down the pace, the speech also goes a little slow when the person is speaking about something. So if Blippy is in the play zone or if he's in the amusement park, he's explaining a particular ride. This ride goes round and so he'll also be speaking slowly. So the child grasps, he He picks up
more time for
processing. And the flashy things doesn't happen. So sometimes if you don't have time, just lower the speed, let the child sit and watch. And that slow speed, in 15 minutes, the child will get bored.
because it is too slow. So even that works. You know, if it's like you don't want to give the screen time, ठीक है चलो देखना है ना देख लो ये लो मैंने speed कम कर दिया. So in rather than watching the entire episode for 30 minutes, the child is done in 15 minutes. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, there has to be a lot of active involvement from the parents. When it comes to managing and moderating screen time, you really need to be actively involved in what and how of the screen. Only then it can be, regulated. And once that habit is formed, your child will follow the habit. Okay, it's not that your child will have more tantrums and things. Once your child knows this is my time, they will be able to follow it. You have to be consistent.
Everything will fall in place. You just need to be patient and have time. Very much of patience is required in this. Lot of patience is required. If you lose your patience, you've lost everything. Yes. Another last thing for screen time, if you feel your child has got a lot of screen time for now, get the child moving. OT activities. Turant start kar do. Physical activities. Start kar do. So again, jo baith gaya tha, that is again active. At least that sitting for 30 minutes now it is utilized. So it's always helpful. It should never happen that you do OT activities and then okay, OT activities kiya, screen time. No. That is the wrong way.
Screen is not a reward.
No, it cannot be a reward. Never, ever. Yeah, you can take it away because you did not do this. I am not giving you screen time today, but you cannot give it as a reward. It is not right. So this is the last thing you can do is that after the child finishes watching, give him physical activities, give him OT activities. And I'll tell you the child will do it also happily because he already got this regulation time he wanted.
So yes, last but not the least, we would love to know the initiatives that you both have taken individually. So let's start from you, ma'am.
So I have my own blog page on Instagram, The Speaking Mummy. It's a page that I created 7 years ago, and right now it has more than 500 posts, including videos on activities, strategies, and simple tips that parents can implement in their day-to-day interaction to help their child's speech language development and play skills as well. And it has more than 103k plus people and professionals from across the globe. So that's a really huge community, and I'm really, it's a privilege that I could create this platform for everyone to connect. And 2 years ago, I started my own line of speech and language development products for children called as First Words. So I have that page on Instagram as well, and it's also available on my website, thespeakingmummy.com. Those products were created keeping in mind the milestones and the unique interest of children who come for therapy sessions. So they were designed in a way which was functional, culturally relevant, and evidence-based to promote speech and language skills, parent-child interaction, and work on the core skills like attention, problem solving, and cognitive skills. So I hope everyone watching this show can check it out and gain insights from it.
Super. Thank you so much. We will definitely put in the link so that people can refer to it. You, ma'am, also have your own channel where you put in your achievements and your little things that you do with your son. So if you could tell us about that.
I have gone through the same struggle where, when the child is newly diagnosed, there is so much of pressure, understanding the things, learning about new things, understanding why the child is like this, how will we help the child. I've seen parents who give up at a very early stage, or they just give up by understanding that my child is autistic. So what message I wanted to convey through the page that I have on the name of Arzan, that is Arzan the Curious Boy. The name itself says Arzan, he's very curious. And that's the curiosity that makes him do different things in his own way. So I just want to convey the message to the newly diagnosed kids' parents, or maybe if still there are parents who are struggling with their kids. Not all autistic kids are that difficult to be taken care of. if you have a good perspective, if you know what are the needs of the child, if you know how you have to work on the needs of the child, and what are the things that are helping the child to grow, you can do it best. The parents are the first point of contact for the child. Now, being autistic, Arzan can swim well, Arzan can cook well, Arzan is a very good reader. Arzan has got a lot of medals by solving online exams and everything. So, we need to understand the strengths of a child. If a child is good at, answering questions which has options, why not? It's not always necessary to just answer in brief and answer in one word. If the child is able to answer with options, let him go ahead. We as parents can only motivate the children like this. If the child has the capacity, if the child can grow out of things, why not? We need to first understand what are the sensory issues. We need to work on them. Once the sensory issues have settled a little, or if the child is able to understand that this sensory can be solved by doing this. For example, if I tell Arzan is still not comfortable walking for longer time because he has a weak core. But he does understand now that if I have to walk for a longer time, I can use my headphones. So when there are songs playing, that difficult task of walking for a longer time is it's very calming for him. It doesn't feel like overwhelming, and it doesn't make him feel tired. So understanding those things, and the autistic kids, they do understand when you explain them or you consistently work on them with them. So the consistency is very important. Secondly, parents, please give time to yourself. This is what I always try to convey from his page as well. So you must have seen me with Arzan going out here. Give that chance to your child. Don't just sit at home. You will have all sort of videos where I have taken Arzan in an aeroplane, I have taken him in a bus, I have taken him in the car for long 4 hours drive, everywhere. It was difficult. Yes, I will not say it wasn't, but over the time, it did settle. He did understand things. When you live with your autistic child, what are the things you need to take care of? What you need to do? What are the basic things you need to initially first teach your child? These are the things which I wanted to convey through that, and that is what I'm trying to do. Don't give up on your child. When you give up, the child is almost halfway down. Then he has no hope. So it's all on the parents. Work hard, try to understand the child, change your perspective, listen to all, do what you feel is right. The mother instinct, very important. If you as a mother feel that this is for my child, go for it. Even if you have to confront the therapist, it's okay. If you feel that is right for your child, it's okay. As long as you get a good, understanding that why it is good, why it is not, it's absolutely fine. Not necessary that every book has an answer for everything. So sometimes life experiences are also more important. So we stay with the child for a longer time in the 24 hours period. So we know our child better. So that is what I wanted to tell. Every time I have questions coming up wherein आप activities कैसे manage करते हो? क्या देना बच्चे को? क्या activities करो नहीं समझ में आता? Understand the sensory issues. And activities को ऐसे बनाओ that you have all the sensories covered in it. So you have your vestibular covered, you have your proprioceptive covered, your tactile covered, all those things, auditory covered, everything. So you need to improvise the activities. Don't just go with the online things that you see, because that may not completely fit for your child. True. Improvise it, make the changes as per the child's needs, and then see the difference. Correct. And also observe what happens after this activity. Is the child okay? Is the child calm? Is the child hyper? If the child is hyper, then you need to change the way that activity is done. Simple swing. A swing is very helpful for autistic kids. But how? If the child is very hyper, is very very much, there's this running, the child will need a slow swing to calm down, to regulate. But if the child is not alert, very much, into his own zone, needs to be alert, needs to be active, he needs a fast-paced swing so that his senses are alert. That's the difference of understanding what is OT doing to your child. And then you make your child sit for speech, you will definitely see the results. If the child is not regulated, the child is not in his own senses, and you make him sit and say, ye bolo, the child is not going to say it. Because he is not going to take it in. It's not going to process, it's not going to be understood. So your society.
Actually, just as we say, salt as per taste. So why not all these skills as per your capability, capacity, and your way of doing it?
And don't stop. Many people may say, ये नहीं कर सकता. ये I try it. क्या पता कर लिया तो? You never know.
Yeah, explore.
Explore. Let the child explore. Let them explore it in their own way. Only when you feel there is a danger, step in. Otherwise, just watch from behind. Only then the child will learn to be independent. Independence only doesn't mean cooking for yourself or, giving a glass of water. No. It's something where you should have that confidence of exploring new things on your own confidence.
So one last message that you would like to give the audience?
So, one last thing that I would want to tell parents is obviously accept your child for who they are. Okay, understand their strengths and use their strengths as stepping stones to learn further skills. That is something that is going to be really important. Understand the importance of early intervention for your child in terms of therapies. Understand why you need to take your child early on for assessments, because when the assessment is done, when the diagnosis is done, your child is not put into a box. Okay, your child is actually coming out of a box of doubt. Okay, you are actually able to understand that, okay, why my child was doing this. If he was doing this or he was not able to learn it, why was my child not able to learn it? So it will actually give you answers to your doubts and queries. And that is how you'll be able to help your child to learn and develop. So focus on your child's strengths, use them as, learning steps, and understand that early intervention is really important for your child. But apart from that, also following the things at home. Okay, just by going to therapy, you won't be able to see improvement in your child. You need to understand, learn, and implement things in your home environment. Only then you will see faster progress in your child. So these are the key takeaways that I would like to give to parents today.
Yes, I totally agree with Yisma ma'am saying that use their strengths as the stepping stone, definitely, because that is more important. Because if you see from the world's point of view, it's only going to be ye nahi kar sakta, wo nahi kar sakta, this is not a... So just forget about it. Use their strengths, see what you feel is different or see what you feel is at the next level. Most important thing for mothers especially, take time for yourself.
True. Very true.
Give time to yourself. If you are dysregulated, you are not going to keep the child regulated at all. It actually impacts the child. 100% it does. If you're happy, the child is happy. If you're in a very upset mood, you will see the child cranky every day. And that is something which I'm talking from my experience. So give your time to yourself, and to give that time to yourself, teach the child first to keep himself engaged with the things he likes. Don't just throw away anything because he's just completely into it. Don't. Use those things for you. Give that thing to him, let him play, and you take your time. If you don't get that time throughout the day, wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. But give that time to yourself. Very important. Pause, breathe, think, and then start working again. Because I have gone through these ups and downs. I have gone through depression also because of all this. Why to me? Why my son? ये क्यों? देना ही था तो अच्छा ही देता. ऐसा क्यों दिया? It has happened. It is normal. We are humans. We cannot just take everything. But giving time to ourselves, understanding that everything of a child, every move of a child depends on our behaviors, our understandings, and our moods, you will really understand that how the child, blossoms when you are at the correct level. So please give time to yourself. And thirdly, most important thing, if you take your child for therapies, understand what the therapy is, why the therapy is being done, how the therapy will help your child, and how you can improvise that therapy, how you can grade that therapy. So any activity that is done at the OT center, ask the therapist, ma'am, ये क्यों कर रहे हैं? इसका क्या फायदा होगा? How will it help my child? और इसको मैं और अलग तरीके से कैसे कर सकती? To teach anything, first regulate the child, calm the child down, give him the sensory needs that are required, and then teach something. Don't just make the child sit. No sitting tolerance will come like this. पहले यहाँ से शांत हो जाए. From here the child becomes calm. Then the child will sit with you. And don't just like, हाँ दूसरे बच्चे एक घंटा बैठते, sit for one. No, that is not going to happen. Start 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. When the child starts, enjoying that process, the child himself will start sitting on that time.
And I would also like to add, it's just not about mothers. Implementing therapy activities is not just for mothers. Okay, as we see Aisha's husband over here, so nicely involved with their son. I think it's really important that both parents take equal contribution in their child's therapy, have equal participation in their child's therapy. That's when, you can easily divide the task. कि ठीक है मैं ये 2 चीज़ करा रही हूँ, आप ये 2 चीज़ करवा दो. Okay, both of them will, be active participants. At the same time, they will not be overburdened with things. So I think that's really important. More and more fathers need to be involved with their child's therapy.
Definitely.
Very much needed. Because I see mothers totally, having this burnout. They are doing so much. How much more are we expecting them to do? Let's be equal partners and, do things together. That is going to help the child.
And this really works well when you have that divided things. Now, when I started with Arzan eating by himself, I always made him sit with his father. I till now have not sat beside him. When he started eating properly, then I started sitting. The reason why I only want him to follow one person, how it is eaten, how to eat certain things, how to understand. Because if I also sit, I make Nani sit, I make Dadi sit, sabka tarika alag hai. And he's going to get confused. Kisko dekh ke kaise seekhu? So only sit with your father. Learn how do you eat nuts, because you have to teach sometimes. And Arzan has come up from that level where he did not know how to eat a nut also. So his father used to actually teach him, pick up one nut, see, eat like this. This is the level we have started with Arzan. So these are like, behind the scenes things which you don't see now. You just see that, oh, wow, bachcha baith ke kha raha hai. Itna acha hai na, sab kha raha hai, spoon se kha raha hai. But this is not how it started. So some things where, and you need to observe कि ये चीज ना ये इसके पापा के साथ अच्छा कर रहा है. Let it go. You don't step into that there. Because this is how it's going. Yes. Because then the kids get confused. अरे ये तो कुछ और सिखा रहे, ये कुछ.
And they are like कि नहीं मम्मी जो बोल रही है वही सही है, वही करना है. It's like that. So it's okay. वो लोग जो कर रहे हैं उन लोग अपने तरीके से करने दो. But then have this division of task. It will save you from burnout. And every person is doing, like even in terms of language stimulation, I tell parents that 24/7 बात करने की जरूरत नहीं है. 2 बार जब आप उसके साथ रहते हो तब आप बात करो, 2 बार जब उसके फादर रहते हो उसके फादर को ये मॉडल करने दो. तो डिवाइड भी हो जाता है, नंबर ऑफ रेपिटेशंस भी मिल जाते हैं, एंड दोनों पेरेंट्स के लिए इट्स अ बैलेंस. इट्स नाइस.
Yeah, that's really more very important. I have seen mothers, they are like, ma'am, थक गए. Sessions के लिए दौड़ो, यहाँ जाओ, वहाँ जाओ, and it's really overwhelming for mothers. And then at the end of the day, mothers really give up on the kids.
And then how can you expect them to be regulated when they are so overburdened?
Exactly.
That's not going to happen. Right?
There are so many working mothers. They are working and then running, coming. मैम sorry late हो गया, मैं काम पे से अभी आई, या फिर मैम जल्दी मुझे 9 बजे ऑफिस पहुंचना है. So the struggles
Are real.
absolutely real. Yeah,
But there is definitely hope at the end of the tunnel, for sure. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you so much, both of you. It was really, really, really very amazing. The kind of myths that you all have cleared today, even mine for that matter. Great. I can't thank you all enough. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
For
so much.
having us here. It was a pleasure.